Danielle McCartan for Bronx Pinstripes here at the home of the Somerset Patriots, TD Bank Ballpark. To my right, Sparky Lyle. He's a 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, and the first AL reliever to ever win the Cy Young Award. I'm in great company here. Thank you for taking the time out for me today.
Oh, my pleasure, my pleasure.
We'll start, I guess, with the Red Sox. You were drafted by the Red Sox, and it's the most bitter rivalry of all of sports.
I wasn't drafted, though. I actually signed with the Baltimore Orioles to start out with. And I guess you would say the Red Sox. I became a Red Sox, I guess it's Rule 25 now. And so that's actually how I got in the Red Sox organization. And then from there, I got a shot at the big leagues because Dennis Bennett, who was their left-handed relief pitcher at that time, was in a terrible car accident. Sorry, Dennis, but it
opportunity knocked.
It helped me, and they gave me 2 weeks, so that's how all that happened.
And then to go from the Red Sox to the Yankees,
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
Well, it was something that Ralph Houck, who was the manager of the Yankees back then, I really pitched good against the Yankees all the time. I mean, not that I was trying to crush them any more than anybody else, but it just turned out that way. And so Ralph Houck was trying to get me for the past couple seasons before I actually did make the trade, before they did make the trade. And so what I remember the beginning of me leaving the Red Sox was Boog Powell beat me in a game in Fenway. I threw him a slider down the way, and he kind of just reached out. And I don't know if you've ever seen Fenway Park or not, but there's only 3 feet of foul territory down there. Well, his ball hit right on the chalk line. And Eddie Casco, the manager, told me that I couldn't get left-handers out. So we had a few words. And I think that kind of started the ball rolling as far as me becoming a whatever. God knows I didn't know I was going to become a Yankee. All my friends back, excuse me.
You mentioned the slider. Ted Williams taught you the slider. I mean, he is one of the all-time greats.
Well, it was just so. To me, that was one of the things that happened to me, and I consider that a life-changing thing. Really, I mean, when the Red Sox drafted me in that Rule 25, all that meant back then was I had to go to spring training with the big club, which is where Ted Williams was.
Right.
So I had pitched that day, struck out 12 in 5 innings. I was feeling good about myself, and sitting in the clubhouse, and he comes in, and he was very loud, and wanted to know where the left-hander was that pitched that day. Of course, I raised my hand and figured his accolades were coming my way.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't true. And he said that he could see my thumb sticking up when I was throwing my curveball all the time. So we actually went outside to fix that. And as we were talking outside, I started throwing the 12-6 curveball, so we fixed that. But he told me that the slider was the best pitch in baseball because he couldn't hit it consistently when he knew it was coming. And he really didn't tell me how to throw it, but he told me what it did. And the next year or two, I used to lay when I go to bed at night, lay there with the ball in my hand, trying to figure out how in the heck I'm going to throw this thing.
Studying some physics.
Yeah. And finally, I got up one night and I thought I had it, and went outside about 3 o'clock in the morning. I was throwing this thing against the side of a garage, and it was just going straight down.
Wow.
And actually overnight is when that happened. And the next day, I was in Double-A, and the next day I went to the ballpark. I was warming up to go in, and I said to Bob Montgomery, my catcher, I said, slider. He says, well, you don't have a slider. I says, 24 hours ago I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And when I threw that slider, it actually hit him on the top of the foot. He didn't even get leather on it. So I knew I had something special there.
For sure. So Yankees Nation should be grateful to Ted Williams for that. For
I'm
sure.
Grateful.
And you also passed it on to Ron Guidry.
Right. Well, that was another thing that, was just a wonder. That was a wonderful thing that happened. A kid with his talent coming up, and and actually needing another pitch. And I don't know who the minor league pitching instructor was back then, but he wasn't doing his job. That's what we felt.
Okay.
Ron was trying to throw a slider and a curveball, and that's what you come up with. Exactly what he had, a slurve, but neither one of them were any good.
Right.
But in fact, Ron and I just talked about this about a week ago. We were at a golf tournament at Forest Gate, and how it changed his life too. And I mean, it was just one of those things that he learned that in less than a week, maybe 10 days. I don't know. But anyhow, it's something like that you just don't do. It takes you a while longer.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as he did, he put it right into the game, and it was you could just tell by the way the hitters were reacting to it that they weren't real good. They weren't feeling good about it, I can tell you that. So
that's good news. So I brought with me my iPad. I wanted to play you a song here, and I want to know
my song.
a song.
Yeah, that's better.
And then
song.
I wanted you to tell me what you think. What do you think of when you hear this? Mariano Rivera?
Well, I mean, I never actually heard that song. I know that he came into the Sandman.
Yeah.
But I've actually never heard it.
What?
No.
Oh,
well, I don't get to really see the games that much, and
oh my God.
That's why I didn't know what that was.
Well, I got another one for you.
Mark can attest to this. I'm not.
This one here.
That's not a good one.
This was the song.
Yeah, I know.
This is
Marty Appel.
Makes me think of graduation.
No kidding. We still don't know where it is. But it started to just the way a lot of players do things out there that they really don't realize they do. And I think that was one of the things that happened to me was when I would come in, I guess I would throw the jacket at the bat boy, which I really didn't realize I did, and get out of the car and go to the mound and in a different demeanor, and I think, and I guess the fans started reacting to that, and but I mean, I'm still oblivious to all this. I'm just thinking about who I got to face or what situation I'm in or whatever, and then in fact, I think Marty Appel could probably back this up better than me. I don't know how many times they played that song before I actually knew that it was being played. Yeah. and once I did, I asked him to not play that anymore because, wonder if somebody brings their kids or their family to the game and they're playing that song and I come in and get my butt kicked. What are they going to think?
Yeah. So if you could do it all over again, what song would you pick?
None. Absolutely none. Because I don't particularly like it. Back then we never played songs. The hitters didn't go up there to a song. Yeah. I think towards the end maybe they did, but I was fine with just, like I say, you're actually oblivious to it anyhow. But I noticed just from managing the Somerset Patriots how the players will go up to the booth up there and change their songs if they're not hitting or all this stuff, and when I would see that or hear that, I'd say maybe you just need a little more work in the cage.
And they say no,
it's the song.
Definitely a song.
Yeah, it's a song.
So as a former closer yourself, Mariano Rivera is the all-time saves
Absolutely.
leader. What makes him so legendary, so
oh my God,
unhittable, so great?
Well, you said it yourself, being unhittable and his postseason saves, and he did two things. He was so smooth at throwing the ball that I know that ball got on the hitters long before they knew it was going to be there. Right. And he threw very hard, 95, 96 miles an hour. But the cutter was the biggest thing because that ball only moved maybe an inch or an inch and a half, but he could throw that thing anywhere he wanted to. Right. And it had a very late break on it. And I forget what Old Timers Day, I think it was the last Old Timers Day I was ever at, which was quite a while ago. And he asked me about my slider, and I told him, I said, what, are you crazy? You don't need that slider. Do you want to mess up your cutter? No.
Yeah, then don't touch it.
Leave things well enough alone.
Yeah.
But I love watching him pitch on TV and stuff. It was just, I mean, he could throw even if the hitter guessed right, they were still in trouble. Because if even when you're guessing, you still got a shadow of doubt in your mind, and in that split second when everything's happening. And he had a lot of movement on his fastball too. So, and he was by far the best I've ever seen, believe me. And even with 2 pitches, but the thing is that his walk to strikeout ratio is absolutely phenomenal. So that's where the success is.
So I spoke to Mickey Rivers not long ago, or the Bronx Zoo crew. You have a book by the same name.
Correct.
What is like your fondest memory of that Bronx Zoo crew?
Oh, it was just how well we got together, and then how well we didn't get together. We fought our butts off to be in those 3 straight World Series, 76, 77, 78, and all that time believing that we could do that, and everybody arising to the occasion, laughing, having a great time, going out and kicking butt. And I think that team was just, regardless of, if you take the whole year and the success we had, we'll always and forever always be very, very close.
Now, you were known as somewhat of a prankster. We know about the butt cakes. We know about the toothpaste Vaseline. But what's one of the better ones other than those 2?
It was just when I did things like that, it was I could see things happening, and then you react to it. It's not like I walked around waiting for stuff to do, But I absolutely loved the when I put the shoe polish on the towel, and Rick Sawyer, who was a rookie that year, when he came out of the shower, before he went in the shower, he always folded his towel a certain way, and well, why does he do that? Why does he do that? And here he would always wash his hair at the last thing he did coming out of the shower. So I guess the water running down his eyes, he couldn't open his eyes, so he just came around the corner with his eyes closed, opened up the towel, so I put that black shoe polish all over there, and he came out, and everybody, Walt Williams almost drowned in the whirlpool watching him put shoe polish all over himself.
And then the best prank pulled against you, did anybody ever try it, or were you the king?
Well, no, I wasn't the king by any means, but Fritz Peterson, who is well known, we were going to the ballpark one day in Minnesota, and back then if the ballpark was close enough, we'd take a cab. So I was like standing outside waiting for a cab. And Fritz came out of the hotel and says, "Are you going to the ballpark?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm waiting to get a cab." He says, I got a car. Just go ahead, get in, I'll be right out." So I get in the car, and then he went in and told this guy that somebody was trying to steal his car. And the next thing I know, I was over the hood of the car. Oh. And the security guy from the hotel was handcuffing me. So that was pretty damn good.
Oh my God. And now when you're here as manager of the Patriots, did you continue all that stuff against the guys in the back?
I had to calm down once I got here. I had some fun, but I guess maybe I made too much of a transition, maybe, or whatever, or maybe I actually grew up a little bit, but I didn't do a lot of those things just because I let the players, that was there, but the clubhouse stuff, and I think that I just kind of backed off and let things happen.
Yeah, so you were pretty successful here. I think it was 5 championships in your tenure as manager. I mean, what's the secret? And these guys are still rolling.
Well, that's what we do here. It's the Patriot way. It was just I don't know. I always put a lot of faith in the clubhouse and the guys that are in the clubhouse. And as Mark Rusinoff could attest, who you met earlier, there were times when I actually released guys that were actually a better player, but they weren't good in the clubhouse. That has something to do. And I think you've probably done enough sports interviews and heard that many times. Well, I saw it work here a lot. How it's like this team here. They just don't give up. They just keep on rolling. We don't do anything any different here except Brett's lost a lot of guys this year. Instead of running out and bringing in a body that's not going to be near as good, you just let that space open. Wait till you get that guy that's going to help you. Wait till you get the guy that's actually going to replace that guy. I always felt if I'm going to get somebody new, I'm going to wait until that guy comes along that could have replaced that guy that's hurt or left or whatever, and then you go from there. But I had some great teams too. I really did. It's fun to sit back and just watch them roll.
Yeah, and is that a catalyst? You ever want to go to the major leagues and manage?
Yeah, no. I was way too old, and now I am too. So. Plus, in the major leagues, you're going to get fired.
Yeah, a lot of turnover.
in three years, you're fired. So I was very happy here, and I'm still happy here.
And so the current Yankees, I mean, you look at the back end of their bullpen, Miller, Betances, Chapman. I mean, when you were the closer, you pitched not just one inning, it was a couple.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you think about guys like that coming in, the 8th inning man, the 9th inning
Well,
man?
I mean, that's, when you see that work like that, it's like, hey, now you got a 6 inning ball game, so you, and don't think teams don't think that way. Hey, this is when the Yankees were good. We won't talk about them today, right?
No.
Okay. But back, like Mariano and stuff, I mean, you knew that if you didn't score some runs by the 6th, you're not going to score any runs.
Right.
And that's just how they do it. It's just like when they started bringing the guys in the 9th inning. I very seldom did that. Not that I didn't go in the 9th inning, but there was always runners on base. I very seldom. The only way you started an inning with nobody on is if you pitched the inning before that. But I think it works out well, and I think you got more quality pitchers in those roles now, and that's what makes it so tough. It's awesome.
Now, Thurman Munson was your catcher.
Absolutely.
What is your fondest memory of him?
Well, just everything about him. I mean, he was just a man's man, and I know I had to sign some pictures, and it was for Steiner, and I don't even know if they're out yet, but it was a picture of Thurman and I on the mound. He was kind of tapping me on the cheek like this, and Steiner, they wanted you to write a story to go with that picture, and what I wrote on there was, and I think this epitomizes Thurman Munson, besides the fact that we were very close, as he was with a lot of guys, but he didn't want a lot of friends. But I wrote on the picture that Thurman will always be my captain, and that this was a man who led by example and backed it up time after time. Very few people do that. I think when Thurman had a dislocated shoulder and we were in the playoffs against Kansas City, and he told us that I can't throw the ball, but I can hit, so I'm going to play. He says if somebody tries to steal, he said if that ball is right down the middle, he's just going to drop it because they can't know that he can't throw. But we kept that a secret, and I think maybe there was only one stolen base. That's Thurman. That's all you need to know about it.
When you have a reputation like that, it's.
He was a great guy, and he just gave you 110% every time, every pitch. Wonderful guy.
Great. So I think we can close it out with. I heard you're an Eagles fan. So I had two songs here.
All
if
right.
we could just complete the lyrics on it, and you could. I'm not too familiar with it. I'll try. But I have two songs.
Take it easy, take it easy.
That's something I've never
Don't
done.
let the sound of
Take it
your
easy.
own
Take it to the limits, more like it.
Good.
Do you have that one on there?
I don't.
Okay, that's quite all right. But take it easy is when I play pool downstairs. That's the only music that's allowed to be on. So I got every Eagles song there is. Even my grandkids know who the Eagles are. But Take It to the Limit was probably the one, and of course Hotel California. But the very first song that I ever, when I went to the minor leagues, that I thought kind of was me at that time, was The House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. But I've since grown out of that, so we won't go there.
All right, let's do Hotel California.
Okay.
I'll play a little piece. Tell me the rest of the lyrics. Go ahead.
Oh God, I don't know if I can do that.
Let's see.
Okay.
It's easy.
warm smell of colitas
Rising up through the air,
ahead in the distance.
saw a shimmering light. That's one of the good things about that song is, like, you can always find it there, but you can't ever check out. That says it all right there. You know, they might make it. Well, they might not make a comeback now. They're cheap.
You never know.
I got every freaking song that they ever wrote. Not that I memorized, or you know, I probably did memorize them, but I'm old now, so I don't remember.
I'm
them.
sure you still.
So we're good.
Okay, well, Danielle McCartan here with Sparky Lyle at TD Bank Ballpark, home of the Patriots. Thank you for checking. Thank you for doing this, and thanks for watching, guys.